Hi, families, and welcome back. You have reached the fourth and final dot in this Connect the Dot series. This is the red dot, Embracing Unique Strengths. I love this dot. It's a lot more lighthearted than the others. We are really going to talk about what makes your child special and how you can use those special characteristics to help battle this challenging behavior. We are still connecting to this challenging behavior because this will all come full circle at the end. Remember, this challenging behavior is really your child trying to tell you something, telling you about a feeling they're having or a need that's not being met. The way you see people is the way you treat them, and the way you treat them is what they become. Let's sit with that quote for a minute because I feel like it embodies this next dot perfectly. We've been doing a lot of hard work these past 3 dots, talking a lot about challenging behaviors and a lot of techniques to try and handle those behaviors. But at the core, your child and their unique strengths is a special person despite their challenging behaviors. And how you see them and the person you see them and how you treat them is who they will become in the future. So when you're thinking about tomorrow and all the challenges that may lie ahead, I want you to reframe your thinking a little bit. Connecting the dots around their challenging behavior will certainly help with this, but just remember at the core, this child is special and unique and should be treated as such. And it's your words that create their internal monologue, that one day they'll be speaking the things they hear to themselves. What do you want them to be saying? Here's a little outline about what we'll be covering with dot 4. We will be talking about your character strengths as the adult, the character strengths of your children, the 3 main temperament types, overstimulation and understimulation, and love languages. Simply put, we'll be talking about how we have to adjust and embrace individuality. One size does not fit all when addressing challenging behaviors. So let's get started. We're going to get started with you. I'm going to ask you to pause this video very briefly and head over to the VIA Institute of Character website to take their free survey on finding your top characteristics. After you take the survey, come back and we'll continue on. All right, you are back with your top 5 character strengths, and it's time to chat about them. How did you feel about your results? Did anything surprise you? I've taken this survey a couple of times over the years, and my top result has remained the same. My top 5 this time around were love, humor, judgment, creativity, and kindness. I wasn't super surprised by any of them. They seemed to be a good fit for my personality. But now I want you to think about how these top characteristics apply to your parent role. My top one being love was a great fit for me, I felt like, and our philosophy in our household. I wanted my children to always know at the end of the day, no matter what they do, I will love them fiercely and relentlessly. Nothing they can do will make that stop. I also feel like humor was a good second one because that's definitely a way that I try and help with challenging behaviors and bad moods in our household. It doesn't always work, but it's always worth a try, and I'll take a grumpy smile any day. Don't worry, I am not going to make your child go to this website and take the survey to find out their top character strengths. I'm going to have you look at this list of child-friendly characteristics and see which ones pop out to you regarding your own children. What emerging unique strengths do you see coming from your child? I know from my oldest, my 3-year-old, I see the kindness and the social intelligence emerging. We can go to a park and he will pick out a child and join in and play, no problem. He's kind, he's a good friend, as far as mom can see. And I hope that those unique strengths continue as he grows older. I love that he's approachable and easy to get along with. I think it makes him a unique friend and a unique person. My youngest definitely fits into that curiosity category. He's only 1, but he is active and getting into everything he can. He loves seeing how things work. He loves seeing what you're up to. And he loves looking in every drawer that he can find. Such a curious little guy. When my niece was growing up, she had a very strong-willed personality and was fiercely independent. Even at 7, she likes to give it to me straight and always tells me how it is. I love everything about her personality and know that one day she will be a great dynamic leader. While some of these characteristics caused some challenging behaviors when she was younger, I always like to remind my sister that it's these dynamic personality traits that are causing issues right now that you're going to want her to have when she's a grown up. Embrace this uniqueness, embrace her strengths. Don't try and squash them. You're going to want her to have them one day. So, how do we begin to retrain our brain into looking at aspects of these challenging behaviors really as emerging character strengths? Let's take a moment to reframe that hot button behavior into a personality positive. Some people might refer to my child as a little bit defiant, but if I choose to reframe that term, I'm going to look at it as assertive. He's self advocating and he is determined. I want to embrace those unique strengths because one day those strengths will make him an excellent leader, and that's what I see for his future. As far as his little brother, the little guy who's into anything and everything he can find, I would label him more as curious. And I hope that curiosity lasts through his childhood and makes him a curious adult who's a great thinker and a great explorer. How can you reframe the hot button to embrace your child's unique strengths? So I'm going to briefly touch on the 3 main temperament types because I feel like as a parent, it's as important to be aware of those as it is to embrace your child's unique strengths. The 3 main temperament types are number 1, easy and flexible. Children tend to be happy, regular in sleeping and eating habits, adaptable, calm, and not easily upset. The second temperament is active or feisty. Children may be fussy, irregular in feeding or sleeping habits, fearful of new people and situations, easily upset by noise and stimulation, and intense in their reactions. The third temperament type is slow to warm or cautious. Children may be less active and tend to be fussy and may withdraw or react negatively to new situations. But over time, they may become more positive with repeated exposure to a new person, object, or situation. So why is this important for us to know about our children? As far as my children, I tend to believe that my first falls in that easy or flexible category, along with myself and my husband. We're all pretty easy to get along with, go with the flow, and generally happy people. Then our second child came along and it was a little bit different. He spent a lot of his first year of life being cared for by mom. That made him fearful and less adaptive to new situations. Transitioning to childcare was a little bit of a struggle. He was very attached to his parents. All of these are okay. There is no wrong or right temperament type. Being aware of your child's temperament just allows you to adapt situations to fit their needs. By doing so, you're able to be proactive against these challenging behaviors. If I know that my child is slow to warm to new people, I'm going to approach those situations differently than I would with my oldest. My oldest loves to go to sleepovers at grandma's, where my little guy prefers to sleep in his own bed. Both are okay, and I'm able to give each child what they specifically and individually need. Another skill I think is important as a parent is to be able to spot the signs of overstimulation and understimulation in your child. I visit a lot of classrooms for work, and often the challenging behaviors are coming from children who are either overstimulated by the environment or understimulated by the environment. Let's think of an adult example to help you connect. Maybe at some point during these videos, you were a little understimulated. What was the first thing you went to do? Was it maybe grab your phone and check Facebook or Instagram? That's okay. You were changing your stimulation level. But at the same time that you were feeling bored, another parent might be overstimulated, frantically writing things down that I'm saying, and maybe getting a little frustrated trying to keep up because this was so much new information. So one person was understimulated while the other was overstimulated. But keep in mind, adults are aware of where we are on this continuum, and we can adapt our environment and activity to speed things up or slow things down. Children, however, don't quite have this skill. They can't identify where they are on the spectrum. How do I get from bored to satisfied or overstimulated to enjoyment? It is our responsibility as the adult to spot these signs and adjust the environment accordingly. I can promise you that by noticing if your child is bored or overstimulated by an activity, you can reduce a few small challenging behaviors. We have reached the last section of the last dot, and we are talking about love languages. How do we make sure the bucket fillers that we talked about in dot 2 are meaningful to the children? The foundation of development for our child is love. When a child feels loved, he or she feels secure and is free and able to explore the world. A child who is nurtured and has a love attachment with at least one adult will then become empowered and confident to meet the challenges of growing up in our world today. I will introduce you to all 5 love languages and help you determine the primary love languages in which your child hears love. Every child benefits from all 5 ways of receiving love. It is important to practice all 5 so your child will sense your love in every way possible. There are plenty of tests out there that will tell you what your love language is, but I'm sure you can probably spot yours when we start to describe. If you've never embraced the love languages, I really encourage you to embrace it with all adults and children in your life. It can create meaningful and connected relationships. The first love language that we're going to talk about is physical touch. These people place a lot of importance on physical affection and touch. Physical contact is very reassuring and meaningful to someone with this love language. What does this look like with your child? This could be hugs or kisses. This could be cuddles on the couch. This could be high fives or sitting on mom's lap while reading a book. It can be as simple as a pat in the back or just a rubbing of the shoulders. If your child likes physical touch, you might notice this one right away. I'll know my oldest is a big cuddler. He would be on my lap constantly if I let him. He loves to cuddle on the couch and read books and watch shows together. It is definitely one of his top love languages. The next love language is words of affirmation. This is when you say positive things, and this involves showing love through the use of verbally affirming statements towards others. These words will also build a positive self-image and confidence. Everyone benefits from hearing kind, encouraging, affirming words. For those with this love language, those words can last a lifetime. But remember, words have great power. Once said, words cannot be taken back or unheard. Harsh, cutting words hurt, and they hurt especially deep for someone who has a love language of words of affirmation. Words said in anger or hate hurt a child's self-esteem and confidence. This casts doubts on the children if they feel loved. Then we have the love language of quality time. Examples include making eye contact, talking about thoughts and feelings, taking a walk, spending quality time together, reading together, playing together, spending time with each child alone and making sure they get your undivided attention. A lot of times it's hard for us to do this quality time because we have these things called cell phones that can sometimes be a distraction. I would say that my 1-year-old falls into this love language. He loves spending time with us and he wants my full attention. He wants me on the floor playing with the toys that he's playing, and then he would like to sit on my lap while we do it. He wants me to hold him. He likes cuddles. He would be a little bit of physical touch too, but mostly this quality time together. He is at that stage where he loves to play with us and his brother. Children need our time and will do anything to get your attention. Negative attention is better than no attention at all. If you think your hot button might be your child calling out for attention, quality time might be their love language. How do you help fill that bucket? What can you do to spend quality time with your child? The next love language is gifts. I'll be a little honest that I feel like every child falls into this love language a little bit. What child does not love receiving gifts? It's universal in human culture to give gifts, and they don't have to be expensive to send a powerful message of love. Someone who forgets a birthday or anniversary, or who never gives gifts to someone who truly enjoys gift giving, will find themselves with a child who feels neglected and unloved. This is not about materialism. It's about knowing that you are on someone's mind, even if you are not together. Here's where the thought definitely counts. My oldest is a big gift giver. He loves to give people things that he finds, but he also loves to receive gifts. One of his special things with his grandma is when they get picked up and she takes him to get a special treat. He looks at it as a way that she shows him that he loves her, and that's okay. Gifts are great for those children who need them. Some people grow up not caring about gifts. That's not an important thing to them. But to every child, they should at least get some aspect of this love language. Like we said at the beginning, it's important for all child to receive love in all of the love languages, especially gifts. The last love language is my primary love language, acts of service. This is about how you can do something for someone that might require a little bit of time, effort, and creativity. These acts of service can be simple household chores like vacuuming, doing a load of laundry, or emptying the dishwasher. Those are all things that make me very happy. My husband also does other special things like making sure my water cup always has ice and water because I drink all day long. He also always makes sure my side of the bed is ready for when I want to go to sleep. Those little things make me feel so loved because he's aware of the things that bring me joy and the things that fill my bucket. For people who value acts of service, actions speak louder than words is their mantra. So, what does this look like for children? This involves helping them do things they cannot yet do themselves, like cooking dinner, yet empowering them to do the things that they can, like cleaning their room or putting their laundry away. My son is always aware of what my love language is. I feel like he already finds ways to fill my bucket with acts of service. While it looks differently in a child, he knows that offering me a turn with a toy that he's playing with or a game that he's playing really fills my bucket. Were you able to spot what you think your love language is? What about your children? Remember that with children, we give all 5 freely and without strings attached. We never use love languages as a reward, and they're not set in stone. Your child's love language can change over time, and they may need something different from different people. Slow down. Childhood doesn't last forever, but love is never ending. Why is it so hard to determine a child's love language? Young children cannot yet verbalize their love language. Older children might be able to explain, how do you know when a mom or dad loves their children? Practice all 5 all the time. Congratulations, you have made it through all 4 of the Connect the Dots. Let's review quickly. Our first dot was the blue dot that was ensuring supportive environments, so the child feels safe, prepared, and ready to succeed. Our second green dot was encouraging positive behaviors to help the child link positive behaviors to healthy relationships. Our third orange dot was emphasizing positive discipline by teaching appropriate behaviors to meet the child's needs. Our fourth was embrace unique strengths through nurturing individual differences and natural temperament. You have so many new tips and tricks in your toolbox and ready to use the next time one of these challenging behaviors occurs. In the blue dot, we talked about the importance of schedules and routines, that children thrive on predictability and knowing what happens next. We talked about transitions and some tips that can help make those a little bit smoother. In the green dot, we talked about pride play, having one-on-one time and filling buckets. We talked about the 5-to-1 deposit rule, that for every one negative thing, there needs to be 5 positives that follow. In the orange dot, we talked about clear expectations, redirection, choices, and logical consequences. In the embrace the unique strengths, the fourth red dot, we talked about character strengths and embracing that individuality of your child. Remember our saying from the very beginning. My job is to recognize difficult behavior as a child telling me he or she needs social and emotional skills to solve problems. It's about coaching, not controlling. You are the perfect adult for this child. You were meant to guide them along as they are strengthening the pathways of their brain to handle these big feelings and emotions in appropriate ways. You got this. And I'm here if you need anything. My contact information is right here. Feel free to reach out with any questions or comments. If I can help at all, I'm happy to. Good luck, and you got this.